Hello, I am Flash Isaac, and today I'll be taking you through past questions and likely common entrance questions. The first question says, how many seconds make up 3.5 minutes? How many seconds make up 3.5 minutes? A. 20 seconds, B. 210, C. 180, D. 120, and E. 60 seconds. Now, we already know that 60 seconds make 1 minute. So let's say 60 seconds makes 1 minute. Now the question says we have 3.5 minutes. So here is 3.5 minutes. How many seconds will that be here to make 3.5 minutes? So we don't know. In mathematics, when we are looking for something that we don't know, we choose a value for it, alphabet, to represent it. You can represent it with S or Y or A, whatever you like. So in this, let me represent it with S seconds. So if 60 seconds make 1 minute, then 3.5 minutes should be S seconds, which means that's what you are looking for. If you're able to do this, the next thing you do is cross multiply. Cross multiplication simply means cross this and cross this. So you have this times this and this times this. So here we have S, which is unknown that we are looking for, times 1. So S times 1 is equals 60 times 3.5. So 60 times 3, 1/2. In mathematics, when you have something like this, it is called mixed fraction. So we don't solve with mixed fraction. We convert mixed fraction into improper fraction. So if you are given any fraction like this is how you convert it to improper fraction. This is 3, 1/2. And don't fail to know that this is the numerator up and this is the denominator down. So to convert this to improper fraction, it means we multiply this by this. So anything here times this, we add it to this. So times and plus. We come and say 3 times 2, 6, plus 1, 7. You write 7 over what is here, which is 2. Now this is improper fraction because the up is bigger than down. The numerator is bigger than the denominator. So if it were something like this, 2/7, it would have been proper fraction because the up is smaller than the down. So you are carrying what is smaller than you. So 3.5 is the same thing as 7/2. So we come here and say S times 1 is S. S is equals 60 times 7/2. This is the same thing as S is equals 60 times 7/2, which is equals 60 divided by 2 is 30. 30 times 7 is 210. 210 seconds. So if you say 60 times 7 divided by 2, the answer is 210 seconds. So 60 seconds make 1 minute. 210 seconds makes 3.5 minutes. That is the answer to that question, which is option B. Question 2 says, write in figure 12,702. And these are the options. In mathematics, there's something called ones, tens, 100, 1,000, and so on. If you have something like this, values like 3, 2, 1, 0, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So the first one is usually ones, or you can call them units. The next one is called tens, in the sense that if I say this is 10, 20, 30, they are in tens, they are 2. Why anything here is ones or unit. 1, 2, 3. Now, when it gets to 3, it becomes 100. Hundreds. So that's why if I have 100, it's up to 3. This is 100. 211. This is 211. It's up to 3. So it's in 100. When it gets to 4, it becomes 1000. 1000. So that's why if I have something like this is 3000. If I have 2154, this one is already in 1000. This is 2000, which is 4. Then this one is 3. That means it's in 100. So 154. If it goes on, it becomes 10,000. Then you have million. Now we're asked to write 12,702. Now look at it. This is 1000. 1000 has 3 0. If you put it this way, it must be up to 4. So it means 12,000 is simply 12, 1, 2, 3, 12,000. Then 700. 700 is in 100. That means that's 3. 700. 1, 2, 3. 700. And 2. So we already know that 2 is in units. It's just 2. So 2 has to be here. It's not up to 10. It's not up to 100. So this is 2. So what you do, you add them up. So adding 0 plus 0 is 0 plus 2 is 2. 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 7 is 7. So we are left with 12. So this is 12. So 12,702 is the same thing as 12702, which is 127002. 12702. So that's option E. E is the correct option. So question 3 says write 30385 in words. 30385. So we have to write this in words. When you come, you look at it. This is ones, like I told you. This is tens, right? This is 100. This is 1000. Then this is in tens of thousand. 10,000. Hundreds. If you have something like this, then this is simply 3. This is 0. So here is 1000. Therefore, here we have 30,000. 10,000. So 30,385. 30,385. Look at it. This 30,385. It makes sense, right? So this is 30,000. So 30,000, 300. 300 and 85 or 85. So 85. FIVE5. So that is the answer. 30,385. 3,000 no. 3,000 no. 30,385. 30,830. This is 30,385. So option C is the correct option. Question 4 says find the square root of 3 whole number 6/25. So like I told you earlier, this is a mixed fraction, and anytime we are giving mixed fraction, we convert to improper fraction by multiplying this by this and adding to this, then dividing by this, which means you come and say 25 times 3 plus 6 over 25. 25 times 3 is 75. 75 plus 6 is 81. So we have 81 over 25. So we've converted this to improper fraction. Now the question says find the square root. So the square root will simply be square root of 81 over 25, which is equals, the square root of 81 is 9, because 9 times 9 is equals 81. Therefore, square root of 81 is 9. So here is 9 over the square root of 25 is 5, because 5 times 5 is equals 25. So we come here and we put 5. So the answer is 9 over 5. But looking at the option, you will see that you will not see exactly 9 over 5. Why? Because the question was in mixed fraction. We converted to improper fraction to be able to solve, to make life easy for us. Now that we've gotten this, we have different ways of confirming the answer. The easiest thing to do is convert each of the options to improper fraction and check for the one that will give you 9 over 5. That is the answer. Let's try that. Or better still, looking at 9 over 5, 9 divided by 5 will simply give you 1, remainder 4. So over 5. So that's supposed to be option B. 1 remainder 4 over 5. So our answer is option B. Or doing the method I told you, converting these guys to improper fraction, we come here and say 5 times 1 is 5, right? Plus 4, 9 over 5. So this is the same thing as 9 over 5. So that's the answer to that question. Change 4.5 days into hours. So we are still in conversion. We know that 1 day is what? 24 hours. 24 hours make 1 day. If 1 day is equals 24 hours and we are given 4.5 days, how many hours will it be? We don't know yet. Like we did in question 1, let's call it B. Let's call this one B hours. You can represent it with anything, S, Y, Z, anything you like. They are unknowns. We are just representing it with what we don't know. So that's that. Having this, we cross multiply. You do this arrow this way and you do this arrow this way. This will give you 1 day times B is 1 times B is equals 24 times 4, 1 over 2. And cross multiplying, you choose what you multiply first. You can say let this one come first. 4.5 times 24 is equals B times 1. Anyhow you do it, you arrive at the same answer. So 1 times B is equals 24 times. Now let's convert this to improper fraction. We'll simply come and say 2 times 4 is 8 plus 1, 9 over this, over what is here, 2. So this is 9 over 2. So this is times 9 over 2. So B is equals 24 times 9 over 2. So if you divide 24 by 2, it gives you 12. So B is the same thing as 12 times 9, which is equals 8, 108. So that's 108. Anyhow you wish to do it, you can just multiply straight and divide by 2. But anyhow you solve it, you get 108. So if 1 day is 24 hours, 4.5 days is simply 108 hours. And that's option E. So this is how you solve this kind of questions. Let's see the next set of questions. So in Roman figures, 100 is C, 500 is D, 90 is SC, 50 is L, 10 is S, 40 is SL. And like I already explained, if you are given 55, 55 is simply 50, which is L, plus 5, and 5 is B, is LV. If you are given 75, is simply 70, which is LSS, plus 5, which is V, so LSSV. 50 is L, so 53 is simply LIII. So that's how you solve questions in Roman figure. This particular question requires us to express S, L, I, S in Arabic numeral. Now, look at this. What is SL and what is IS? SL, as you can see, is 40, right? And IS is what? 9. So SLIS is simply 49. So that is your answer. So the answer is D, 49. For now, if I give you this and ask you to convert to Roman figures, what would you do? 574 and 1584. And as addition, 1000 is M. So how do you go about that? So let's start with 574. What is 500? 500 is D, right? Now, what is 70? 70 is LSS, which is LSS. And how about 4? This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. So that means 4 comes here. So this is simply 574 in Roman figure. If I say 1584, it's simply 1000 is M, 500 is D, 80 is LSSS, and what is 4? IV. So this is 1584 in Roman figure, and that is 574 in Roman figures. So any value you are giving to change to and fro, these rules are enough for you to answer the questions. Question 8. It says, what is the place value of 2 in 204.14? A, hundreds, B, tenths, C, tenth, D, hundred, E, thousands. Now, take note of them. This is hundreds. This is in TH. This is in TH. This is in TH. This is S. Now, talking about place value, this is how you answer this kind of questions. In place value, this is a decimal number. So this means here is simply the decimal point. Now, from the decimal point, we have to your right and we have to your left. When you start counting this way, starting from here, this is ones. You can call it ones or units. The second one is tenths. The third one is hundreds. So if there is another value, for example, if there is another value 4, 4 will be thousands. Okay? Now, when you are counting the other way, this first one here is tenth. Look at it. Tenth, TH. This is tenth. This way is tenth. The next one is hundredth. TH, hundredth. So if there is another number here, let's say 42, it will be thousand. It's not thousand, thousand. So the decimal part is in TH, while this way is ones or units, tens, thousands, hundreds, thousands. Decimal point, tenth, hundreds, and thousands. So in this question, we are asked for the place value of 2. 2 is simply in the hundreds part, so it's 200. So the options are hundreds, tens, hundred, and thousand. So it is in hundreds. So the option is A. Number 9 says, Ado bought a pair of shoes for 500 naira and sold it for 4,000 naira. What is his percentage loss? Percentage loss is simply the loss over cost price times 100. That's percentage loss. Now, he bought it for 5,000 naira and sold it for 4,000 naira. So this is the cost price, sorry, and this is the selling price. So in normal sense, if you are selling something for less than how much you are buying, it means that you are running at loss. So if selling price is less than cost price, you are running at loss. To make profit, the selling price, you must sell it higher than how much you bought it. In this case, this guy bought a pair of shoes for 5,000 naira and he sold it for 4,000 naira. That means the loss is 1,000 naira. 5,000 naira minus 4,000 naira. So he lost 1,000 naira. So the loss in percent is simply the loss, that's 1,000 naira. 1,000 naira over the cost price amount he bought it, 5,000. So 5,000 times 100. So this will simply give you, or it's the same thing as times 100 over 5,000. And anytime you are multiplying with 100, you simply add 2 zeros. This is the same as 1, 1, 2, 3. Add the 2 zeros. 1 0 1 0 over 5,000. So 1 0 will cancel 1 0, 1 0 cancels 1 0, 1 0 cancels 1 0. We are left with 100 over 5. So 100 divided by 5 is supposed to be, or is 20, equals 20. So the percentage loss is 20 and the option is B. So this is B, that's 100 and that's 49. Okay, question 7. Question 7 says, write in figures 25,000 and 5. So 25,000, 25 is in thousands. So 25,000. Yes, this is units, tens, hundreds, and thousand. So 25,000 and 5. So this is 5. 25,000 and 5 is simply 25,000 plus 5, which will start from here. So this will give you 0 plus 5 is 5. Here is 0, 0, 2, 5. So it's 25005. So let's look for 25005. So that's option D. Option D is the correct option. Then the last question there, question 10. It says, what is the place value of 5 in 504.13? So I think this is similar to what we did earlier. In place value, this is decimal. The place value of 4 is ones. The place value of 0 is tens. The place value of 5 is hundreds. This is tens, th. This is hundreds. So the place value of 3 is 100. Place value of 1 is 10. The place value of 5 is hundreds. So that's A. That's 500. A is the correct option. Question 11 says, in a class, there are 30 girls and 45 boys. Find the ratio of girls to boys. A, 1:3. B, 2:3. C, 3:1. D, 3:2. And E, 4:9. The ratio of girls to boys is simply 30:45. We have 30 girls and 45 boys. This is the ratio. However, the questions requires us to break this ratio down to get one of the options. So what do? We divide both of them by the same numbers until it gets to a point where the same number cannot break two of them down. So looking at 30 and looking at 45, 30 divided by 2 will give you 15, but you can't break 45 down into 2. So we look at various numbers. So 30 divided by 5 is 6 ratio. 45 divided by 5 is 9. So 6 ratio 9. We can still break down these numbers. 6 divided by 2 is 3, but 9 cannot divide 2. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 2 ratio. 9 divided by 3 is 3. So what does that mean? This implies that the ratio of girls to boys is 2 ratio 3, and that is option B. The next question says 1/4 of a number is 5. Find the number. 1/4 is simply 1/4. So they are saying 1/4 of a number is equals 5. 1/4 of a number is equals 5. This means the number over 4 is equals 5. How do we get the number? To get the number, we simply cross multiply. So number is equals 4 times 5, which is 20. So the number is 20. That's option C. Now, you can as well say 1/3 of a number. 1/3 of a number is 1/3 of a number. So if 1/3 of a number is 5, for example, then the number will simply be equals 3 times 5. The number will be 15. So 1/3 of 15 is 5, and 1/4 of 20 is 5. So if you say half, half is simply 1/2 of a number. It will now be 2 times 5, 10. So they can say 1/5, 1/5. So in any way they put it, just say 1/something of the number equals that, then you cross multiply to get your answer. Now, how about they say 2/3 of a number is 5? Find the number. In that case, it will be 2/3 is 2/3. It will not be 2/3 of number is equals, let's say 10. 2/3 of a number is 10. So this means 2 times the number over 3 is equals 10. The number will simply be, you cross multiply. When you cross multiply, we have 2 times the number will be equals 3 times 10, which is 30. Now, we are not looking for 2 times the number. We are looking for the number itself. So the number itself can be gotten by dividing both sides by 2. Dividing here by 2, it goes. So the number becomes 30 divided by 2, which is equals 15. This means that 2/3 of 15 is 10. So question can come in many ways. They can say 4/5 of a number, 6/7. In any way they put it, 1/7, anyhow they put it, this is how you go about it. So they are pretty easy and pretty straightforward. The next question says, a worker earns 4,000 naira per month. How much does he earn in half year? So 1 month he earns 4,000 naira. Now 1 year is 12 months, right? So that means in 12 months he earns, let's say S, because we don't know. And like I've been teaching you, in this type of questions, when you get here, you cross multiply. So s times 1 month, s times 1 is equals 12 times 4,000. And this is 4,000, this is 12. So to multiply 12 and 4,000, you simply use 2 to multiply everything. 2 times 0 is 0, 2 times this other 0 is 0, 2 times 0 is 0, 2 times 4 is 8. Then 1, so 1 is here. So 1 times 0 is 0, it should start with under itself. 1 times 0 is 0, 1 times 0 is 0, 1 times 4 is 4. So this is 0, 0, 0, 8, 4. So that's 48,000. So s times 1 is s is equals 48,000. Now, in a year, he earns 48,000. But we are not looking for how much he earns in a year. We are looking for how much he earns in half a year. And what is half a year? It's simply 6 months, or a year divided by 2. So half a year will simply be 48,000 divided by 2, which will give you 24,000. This is one way to solve this question. Another way to solve it is, half a year is simply 6 months, right? So we can come here and say 6 months is equals s. If 6 months is s, then s is equals 6 times 4,000, which will give you 24,000. So you can do it in many ways. That's how to go about this. What about they say 1 over 3 year? You simply divide 1 year earning by 3. That is it. They say 2/3 of the year. This is 1 year earning multiplied by 2 over 3 for 2/3. So questions can come in so many ways, and you can also answer them in so many ways. It's just left for you to be open-minded. When you are open-minded, you can solve it anyhow it comes. So let's see what the next question holds. The next question says, what must be subtracted from 3.10 to have 1.00? So in this type of question, you use wisdom. They say 3.10 minus a number is equals 1.001. 3.10 minus a number. So this is something we subtract from this to get that number. Now, how do we get the number? To get the number, we simply collect like terms. This number is negative. So if I take it here, it's crossing the equality sign. It becomes positive. Then this is positive. If I bring it to meet its friend, it becomes negative. In that case, 3.10 minus 1.001 is equals the number. So the number will simply be 3.10 minus 1.001. And this is how you go about this subtraction. You come here, say 3.10, then here is 1.001. So this is here, this is here. So there's nothing here. So we need to take, and here is 0. So we can't take anything from here. So we need to come here. This is 1. We borrow 1 from here and put here. So this one becomes 10, right? And this one becomes 0. Now this is 10. We borrow 1 from this 10 and put here because there's nothing here. So borrowing 1 from 10 to put here, here becomes 10 and here becomes 9. So in that case, 10 minus 1 is 9. The 9 that is left here minus 0 is 9. Here is left with 0 because we borrowed 1. So here is 0. 3 minus 1 is 2. So the answer is 2.099. What is the cost of 60 oranges if 4 cost 20 naira? So you come and say 4 cost 20. Therefore, let 60 cost s. So you can see that the knowledge of this wisdom can help you solve a lot of questions. trying to compare and cross multiply. With this, you are good to go in a lot of questions. Life becomes very easy for you. So just for you to compare prices and you are happy. I'm happy too. Then S will simply be we cross multiply. So 4 times S is equals 60 times 20. 4 times S is 4S is equals 60 times 20 is 60, 20. 0 times 0 is 0. 0 times 6 is 0. 2 times 0 is 0. 6 times 2 is 12. So that will give you 0012 is 1200. Dividing both sides by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. So AS is equals 1200 over 4, which is equals 600 over 2, which is equals 300. So 1200 divided by 4 is 300. So 60 oranges, the cost of 60 oranges is 300 naira. If 4 actually cost 20 naira. So that answer is option C. So let's look at the next question. Now, the 16th question. Remember, these numberings are my numberings, not the way they are in the past questions. So I brought out many questions and choose to number it so that I know how many I've solved out of them. 16 say arrange the following fractions in ascending order. Ascending means from small to the biggest. That's ascending. Given 3 over 4, 5 over 8, 7 over 12, and 3 over 2. 7 over 12 is obviously the smallest fraction. If you divide 7 divided by 12, will give you the smaller value. And the next smaller one is 5 over 8, followed by 2 over 3 and 3 over 4. So that is the fact. But if you still don't understand, I was able to get a way of knowing which is the smallest and which is bigger. Take a look at 3 over 4. Take a look at 5 over 8. Take a look at 7 over 12. Take a look at 2 over 3. So you simply come here and say 3 divided by 3 is what? 1, right? 1 over 4 divided by 3. They will be 1, remainder 1, right? So when you come here, 5 divided by 5 is 1 over 8 divided by 5. They will take 1, remainder 3. 7 divided by 7 is 1. 12 divided by 7 is simply 1, remainder 5. 2 divided by 2 is 1 over 3 divided by 2 is 1, remainder 1. So the one with the biggest remainder is the smallest fraction. 7 over 5 has the biggest remainder, which is remainder 5. So 7 over 5 over 12 is the smallest fraction. Is smallest. So we start from here. Now the next 5 over 8 has the biggest remainder after 7 over 12. So the next smallest one is 5 over 8. Now 3 over 4 and 2 over 3, they have the same remainder when you divide. So what do? We look for the bigger one. This is 3 over 4 and this is 2 over 3. So 3 over 4, 3 is bigger than 2, 4 is bigger than 3. So this is bigger than this. Therefore, the next one is 2 over 3 and the bigger one is 3 over 4. Dividing, you see that 7 divided by 12 will give you 0.58. 5 divided by 8 will give you 0.63. 2 divided by 3 will give you 0.67. And 3 divided by 4 will give you 0.75. So this is obviously bigger. Now, if we are asked to arrange in descending order simply means we start from the biggest, followed by this, followed by 5 over 8, followed by 7 over 12. So in primary 6 exam, you'll be given a lot of values and asked to arrange in ascending or in descending order. So this is how you go about them. So let's look at the next question. The next question says, in a school, there are 478 boys and 329 girls. How many pupils are in the school all together? So in a school child can either be a boy or a girl. So the total number of pupils in the school will simply be the total boys plus the total girls. Total boys is 478 and the total girls is 329. So the total people in the class will simply be adding both of them. So 9 plus 8 is 17, remainder 1. 7 plus 2 is 9, plus the one we carried, 10. So we put down 0, carry 1. 4 plus 3 is 7, plus 1, 8. So we have total number of 807 people in the class, and that is option D for you. How many seconds are there in 8 minutes and 12 seconds? So 8 minutes, 12 seconds. So we are asked how many seconds are there in total. So we already have the time in seconds. We have to convert 8 minutes to seconds and add to the seconds we already have. And remember, 1 minute is equals 60 seconds. So 8 minutes will be what? We don't know. So let's call it S seconds or A seconds. So let's say S seconds. So we are using S to represent the unknown seconds. Cross multiplying this, S times 1 will give you S is equals 60 times 8. This will give you 60 and 8. 8 times 0 is 0. 8 times 6 simply means 8 into 6 places. So we have 8, you 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 have 8. So 8 into 2 is 16. 8 into 2 is 16. 8 into 2 is 16. So 8 times 6 is simply 16 plus 16 plus 16. 16 plus 16 will give you 32, plus 16 will give you 48. So 6 times 8 is 48. 48. So here we have 480. In 8 minutes, we have 480 seconds. Therefore, how many seconds we have in 8 minutes and 12 seconds is simply adding 12 seconds to 8 minutes to give you 294. So the total seconds is 492 seconds and not 480 seconds. So the correct option is option C. Question 19 there says, increase 80 by 10%. 80 by 10%. What this is asking us is to look for 10% of 80 and add it to 80. That is just it. For example, 10% of 80 is simply 10 over 100 times 80. This is 10% of 80. So 1 0 cancels 1 0. This cancels this. So this will give you 8. Or better still, 10 times 80 is 800 over 100, which is 8. So 10% of 80 is 8. Now, adding 10% to 80, it means 80 plus 8, which is 10% of 80. So that will give you 88. That is your answer, which is option D. 2 over 5 plus 2 over 7 times 1 minus 1 over 8. In any question in mathematics, anytime you see addition or subtraction mixed with multiplication or division, you use board mass. In this question, we have addition, we have addition, we have subtraction, we have multiplication, we have bracket. So the solution to solving this problem is actually using board mass. So what is board mass? This is bracket, and this is off or order. They deal with powers and exponents. D is division, M is multiplication, A is addition, and S is subtraction. Looking at this question, starting with B, we have bracket, which is this and this. So let's clear the bracket. Clearing the brackets, let's look for the LCM of this. The LCM of 7 and 5, this is how you look for LCM. You put 5 and you have 7. What can divide them? We can start with 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1, but 5 cannot go into 7. So you leave 7. The next thing is 7. 7 can go. So 7 divided by 7 is 1. So the LCM is 5 times 7, which is 35. 5 times 7 is 35. So that is the LCM of 5 and 7, which is 35. And 35 divided by 5 is 7. 7 times 2 is 14. So this times this plus this plus 35 divided by 7 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10. Times, now look at here, this one is standing alone, is the same thing as over 1. If I say 2, 2 is the same thing as 2 over 1. If I say A, it is the same thing as A over 1. If this is like this, then the LCM is simply 8. 8 divided by 1 is 8. Times 1 is 8. Minus 8 divided by 8 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. So here, 35 divided by 7 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10. Having this, 14 plus 10 is 24 over 35 times 8 minus 1 is 7. 7 over 8. So this will simply give you 24 times 7 over 35 times 8. So we should be left with 3 over 5. So that is your answer, 3 over 5, which is option D. Simplify the square root of 5 whole number 4 over 9. To simplify this, we start by converting this mixed fraction to improper fraction. How do we achieve that? We multiply this by this and add to this. So this is the same thing as square root of 5 times 9 is 45 plus 4, 49. So this is 49 over 9. Now given this, the square root of 49 is 7 and the square root of 9 is 3. So this is 7 over 3. Now 7 divided by 3 is equals 2. 2 remainder 1 over 3. So that's 7 divided by 3. They will share 2 remainder 1 over 3. So the correct answer is 2, 1 over 3. The ratio of the length to the breadth of a room is 7:5. 7:5. 7:5 is the same thing as 7 over 5. This means this is the length and this is the breadth. So when length is 7, breadth is 5. So we can even do it like this. 7 length is equals 5 breadth. The question says find the length of the room if the breadth is 10 meters. So in this case, we are looking for length, but we don't know the length. So S length would give us 10 meter breadth. This is 5. So given this, like you're already used to by now, we cross multiply. So this will give you S times 5 is 5S is equals 7 times 10 is 70. 70. So dividing both sides by 5, S becomes 70 divided by 5. And 70 divided by 5 should give you 14. So the answer is 14. Odiri bought 12 cartons of biscuit for 3,000 naira. So 12 cartons is 3,000 naira. it says find the cost of 7 cartons. So we are looking for the cost of 7. Before looking at cost of 7, why not just let us look for the cost of 1 first? So if 12 cartons is 3,000, then 1 carton is simply 3,000 naira divided by 12. This will give you 250. So 1 carton is 250 naira. Therefore, 7 cartons will simply give you 250 times 7, which is 0. 7 times 5 is 35. So we put down 5, take 3. 7 times 2 is 14, plus 3 is 17. So 7 cartons cost 1,750 naira. And that's option D. Reduce 36 over 100 to its lowest term. This is how you do that. 36 over 100. So we start breaking it down until we get to the lowest term. 36 divided by 2 will simply give you 18. Over 100 divided by 2 will give you 50. 18 divided by 2 will simply give you 9. Over 50 divided by 2 will give you 25. 3 can't go into 25, or it can go into 9. So this is the lowest form, 9 over 25. So that's option D. 25 says we should find the simple interest. Simple interest is simply the principal times time times rate, all over 100. The principal is the amount invested, while the time is the period you are given. Then rate is the percentage you are paying back, the interest. So they say find the simple interest on 600 naira. So 600 naira is the amount, or the amount invested. That is the principal. So we have principal to be 600 naira times for 5 years. So the time is 5 years times 5 times at 8% per annum. So anything that comes with percentage actually is the rate. So the rate is 8. Then all over what? 100. So 600 times 5 times 8 over 100 is equals 240 naira. So the simple interest is 240 naira. Then 26 says simplify 2s minus s plus 4s. 2s minus 1s is simply s. 1s plus 4s is 5s, so it's C. So that is the answer. To look for the LCM of two numbers, we simply bring the two numbers side by side and start dividing, starting from the lowest number. LCM is lowest common multiple. So starting from 2, 2 can divide at least one of them without a remainder. So we start with 2. 16 divided by 2 would give you 8. Then 24 divided by 2 will give you 12. 2 can still go into them. So we put 2 again. 8 divided by 2 is 4. And 12 divided by 2 is 6. 2 can still go. We put 2 here. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 2 can still go into at least one of them. So we put 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. Then 3 divided by 2, there will be remainder. So we just leave the 3 that way. The next thing that can go is 3. Here remains 1. 3 divided by 3 is 1. So the LCM is equals 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. So 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. 16 times 3 is 48. So the LCM is 48. While the LCM is 48, these 3, the highest value here is the HCF, highest common factor. So if you are asked for HCF, you don't need to multiply this way. Simply check here and look for the highest value. So that highest value is your highest common factor, while multiplying everything here is your lowest common multiple. Express SCM in meters. 100 cm is equals 1 meter. So 1 SCM is simply 100 SCM. So that's the answer to that question. Question 28 is a word problem question. It says when 5 is added to 6 times a number, the result is 35. What is the number? So now, when 5 is added to 6 times a number, so 5 plus 6 times a number is equals, the result is 35. So that's what they're telling us, 5 plus 6 times a number. Now, adding 5 to 6 times a number, we got 35. This implies that 6 times the number is equals 35 by collecting like terms. This 5 is positive here. It crosses to meet this guy. So by crossing, it becomes negative. So here becomes minus 5. 6 times the number is equals 35 minus 5 is 30. Now, we are looking for the number, not 6 times the number. So to get only the number, we divide both sides by 6. Dividing here by 6 and dividing here by 6, 6 cancels 6. So the number is equals 30 divided by 6. So 30 divided by 6 is 5. So the number is 5, and that is option B. If s plus 4 is equals 6, what is the value of s raised to the power of 3? So it says s plus 4 is equals 6. If s plus 4 is 6, collecting like term, s is simply 6 minus 4. S is simply 2. Now we are not looking for s, we are looking for s raised to the power of 3. So s raised to the power of 3 is equals 2 raised to the power of 3, because s is equals 2. 2 raised to the power of 3 is the same thing as 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2, 8. So 2 raised to the power of 3 is 8. The number s raised to the power of 3 is 8. So the answer to 29 is 8. Question 30 says, if the product of 2 and 10 is divided by the sum of 2 and 3, the result is... So the product of 2 and 10 is simply 2 times 10. Is divided by the sum of 2 and 3. That means 2 times 10 divided by 2 plus 3. That's the interpretation of that word problem. 2 times 10 is 20. And 2 plus 3 is 5. 20 divided by 5 should give you 4. So the answer is 4. That's option C. Question 31 says, solve the equation 2s plus 5s is equals 35. So we are asked to solve this equation. To solve the equation is simply straightforward. This is 2s and this is 5s. We can add them. 2s plus 5s is simply 7s is equals 35. Now to get s, we divide both sides by 7. Because in mathematics, for an equation to be balanced, what happens to one side should happen to the other side. That's what makes life beautiful. So 7 divided by 7 is 1. So s equals 35 over 7. Which of the following number is not a perfect square? So the simple way to answer this question is looking for the square root of the numbers. Anyone that gives you a whole number is a perfect square. So the one that doesn't give you a whole number is not a perfect square. So looking for the square root of 200 will not give you a whole number. It should give you 14 point something something. So this is not a perfect square. Now 12 times 12 is equals 144. This means that the square root of 144 is 12. 11 times 11 is 121. This means that the square root of 121 is equals 11. 5 times 5 is 25. Therefore, the square root of 25 is 5. And 3 times 3 is 9. Therefore, the square root of 9 is 3. So, 9 is a perfect square, 25 is a perfect square, 121 is a perfect square, 144 is a perfect square, but 200 is not a perfect square. So that's how to answer that type of question. Now let's look at question 33. 33 says Nana is M years old now. So is M years old now. How old was she 10 years ago? So 10 years ago is simply subtracting 10 from her age, right? If I am 10 years old now, 5 years ago, it means I was 10 minus 5, which is 5 years. If I am 15 years now, 10 years ago, I was 15 years minus 10, which is 5 years. So Nana is M years old now. 10 years ago, she was simply M minus 10 years. So that's the answer. From here to here is actually 90 degrees. From here to here is 90 degrees. From here to here is 90 degrees. And from here to here is 90 degrees. So from here to here is a straight line. This means the total angle in a straight line is 180 degrees. So if you are asked, what is the angle on a straight line? The angle on a straight line is 180 degrees. Now, the complete circle is simply 90 plus 90 plus 90 plus 90, which is 360 degrees. So the angle in a circle, or the sum of angle in a circle, is 360 degrees. The angle in a triangle is 180 degrees. Given this implies that from here to here is an angle on a straight line. Here to here is simply 90, 90, which is 180 degrees. If that is so, this implies that from here to here to here to here, from beginning to this place, is simply 90 plus 90 plus 90. That's 180 degrees. So this is how you deal with angles. Let's compare this to clock. Given a clock, this is a clock. Here is 12. Here is 6. Here is 3. And here is 9. So this means here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So now it says, how many degrees will the hour hand of clock show from 6 p.m. to 3 a.m.? So if this is 6, our hand is here 6 p.m. It moves from here to 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. to 1 a.m. 2 a.m. So it comes here 3 a.m. because the clock moves this way. And remember, if this is this, from here to here is 90 degrees, right? From here to here is another 90 degrees. From here to 3 is 90 degrees. Therefore, the clock moved from 6 p.m., 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270 degrees. So that's 270 degrees. Another question may come. Given the same clock, the total angle in the clock is 360 degrees. And here is 12, 6, 3, and 9. So from 12 to 3, 12:00 to 3 a.m. is simply 90 degrees, in case you are asked. Now, if a clock moves from 12 to 6, it has moved 90 degrees plus 90 degrees, that's 180 degrees. Now, how about we are told that the clock moved from 6 to 6. So 6 to 6 means it started from here, it moves around and gets back to 6. That's a complete circle. That would be 360 degrees because the angle in the circle is 360 degrees. If you are told that the clock moved from 9 to 12, 9 p.m. to 12, here is 90 degrees. So anytime you move from here to here, it's moving 90 degrees. Now, take a look at something. If you are given, this is 12, this is 1, and this is 2. We know that from 12 to 3 is 90 degrees. This implies that the center here, between 1 and 2, here is 45 degrees, and here is 45 degrees. So from 12 to 130 is 45 degrees. So this is how you go about angles and clock. Any question that comes, you should be able to use this wisdom to answer them. So let's see the next set of questions. What is the highest common factor of 9, 12, and 15? So to look for HCF, we simply bring out the values 9, 12, and 15. So we start dividing from 2. We look at all these values. 2 can divide at least one of them. So 9 divided by 2, it won't work. 12 divided by 2 is 6. 15 divided by 2 would not give you a whole number. So we leave 9 the way it is and 15 the way it is. Now 2 can still go into at least one of them. So it won't go into 9, it won't go into 15. But 6 divided by 2 would give you 3. So looking at these values, 9, 3, and 15, 2 cannot divide any of them. So we go to 3. 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 15 divided by 3 is 5. So we continue again with 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. So this remains 1. 5 divided by 3, it won't work. So we leave 5 the way it is. So the next thing we are obviously going to try is 5 because this is already 1 and this is 1. So 5. This remains 1, this remains 1. 5 divided by 5 is 1. So we stop when all the answers here are 1. Now, what is HCF? To get HCF, you don't multiply everything. Multiplying everything here, you are looking for LCM. But in this question, we are looking for HCF, highest common factor. So the highest common factor is simply the biggest number here. So out of everything here, what is the biggest number? It is 5. So the HCF is 5. If you are looking for the LCM, it will be 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 5. So the value will be your LCM. But for HCF, you simply pick the biggest. And if you are looking for HCF of 2 numbers, let's say this is not here, just this and this, it will still be, here will be 6, 9, 2 here, 9, 3. So 3, 3, 1, 3, 1, 1. So similarly, the HCF of 9 and 12 is 3. But for 9, 12, and 15, we got 5 as the highest common factor. 36 says, what must be added to the sum of 1 whole number 1 over 2 and 2 whole number 1 over 4 to make 5 whole number 1 over 2? So it says the sum, that means 1 whole number 1 over 2 plus 2 1 over 4. This is the sum of this and this plus a particular number. Let's say S is equals 5 1 over 2. So the sum of this and this is this. What must be added? We don't know. But let's call it S. So adding this, we got 5 1 over 2. The next step is to solve for s. To do that, let's convert these guys to improper fraction. This is a mixed fraction. Doing that, 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. So here is 3 over 2, plus 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1, 9. So this is 9 over 4, plus s is equals 5 times 2 is 10, plus 1 is 11. So 11 over 2. The LCM of 3 over 2 and 9 over 4 is simply 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 times 3, 6. So you come here and put 6. Plus 4 divided by 4 is 1. 1 times 9 is 9. So plus s is equals 11 over 2. 6 plus 9 would give you 15. So here is 15 over 4 plus s is equals 11 over 2. So let's take this to this other side. S will simply be equals 11 over 2 minus 15 over 4. And again, we look for the LCM. The LCM of 11 over 2 and 15 over 4 is 4. So S is equals, here we have 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 times 11 is 22. Minus 4 divided by 4 is 1. 1 times 15 is 15. 22 minus 15 is 7. So your answer is 7 over 4. Cube root is simply something you multiply 3 times to get a number. So if you have something like this, 2 times 2 times 2 is equals 8. Therefore, the cube root of 8 is equals 2. 3 times 3 times 3 is equals 27. This means the cube root of 27 is 3. So your answer is 2 over 3. That's option B. Question number 38. It says, how many prime numbers are there in the set of numbers below? So these are the numbers: 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. What are prime numbers? Prime numbers are simply numbers that have only 2 factors. They can only divide themselves and 1. They cannot be divided by 2 or any other number. So look at 12, for example. 12 can divide 2, can divide 4. So 12 is not a prime number. 12 is an even number. Even numbers are numbers that can be divided by 2. While prime numbers, they can be divided by only 2 numbers, only themselves and 1. Look at 13. 13 divided by 1 is 13. 13 divided by 13 is 1. Apart from that, nothing less. Nothing can divide 13 again. So 13 is a prime number. 17 is a prime number. Apart from 17 and 1, nothing can divide 17 again. Now look at 19. 19, 1 can divide 19 and 19 can divide itself. Apart from that, nothing can divide 19 again. 2 can't go, 3 can't go, 4 can't go, 5 can't go, 6 can't go, anything can't go. But for 20, 16, 18, and 14, they can be divided by other numbers. So we have 3 prime numbers here. 39 says, a 3-sided plane figure is called dash. A 3-sided plane figure is obviously triangle, as the name implies. Try. Why? 4 is rectangle or square. Square and rectangle are 4-sided. Just that in square, all the sides are equal, which means the area is length square. So if this is a square, this is 2, this is 2, this is 2, this is 2. The area is simply length times breadth, so 2 length, 2 times 2 is 4. And the perimeter is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. But for rectangle, if this is 4, this is smaller. So the length is more than the breadth. If this is 4, this is 2. So the area of this rectangle is simply length times breadth, which is 4 times 2. that is 8. If it's in meter or cm, it's simply 8 meter square. While the perimeter is 4 times 2 times 4 times 2, multiplying all the sides. That's how you get perimeter. Three-sided figure is triangle. While this is the hypotenuse, this is opposite, and this is adjacent. First, it says find the value of s if 3s plus 3 is equals 18. So we are asked to look for the value of s in this equation. The first thing we simply do is open up the bracket. Opening up this guy, we have 2 times 3 is 6. So 6s plus 2 times 3 again is 6 equals 18. Next, let's collect like terms. This has s and that doesn't have. So we take it to this side to become negative. This leaves us with 18 minus 6. 6s is equals 12. To get s, let's divide both sides by 6. So dividing here by 6 and dividing here by 6, this cancels this. S becomes 12 over 6, which is 2. So the value of s is 2. So separating the shape, we have two shapes with 2 cm and 4 cm, which is this. And we have another one with 6 cm and 2 cm. The area of this rectangle is length times breadth. That is 2 times 4, 8 cm square. And the area of this is length times breadth, 6 times 2, which is 12 cm square. So the total area of the shape is adding the area of both rectangles, which will give you 8 plus 12, that's 20 cm square. That is the area of that shape. And this 43 says we should correct 33.246 to two significant figures. Two significant figures is this. Given this value, the first significant figure is the value that is not equal to 0. So the first number that is not equal to 0 here is 3. This is the first significant figure. The second significant figure is any number after the first significant figure, whether 0 or not. So this is obviously the second significant figure. Rounding up these values to two significant figures is simply taking only these two and making every other thing 0. So every other thing becomes 0. So that's to two significant figures. If you are given something like this, 0.4068. In this figure, the first significant figure is 4 because this is 0. This is the first value that is not 0. This is the first. The second significant figure is 2. Is 0. This is the second significant figure. This is the third significant figure. And this is the fourth significant figure. If you are rounding this value up to two significant figures, it will simply be 0.4. It's supposed to be 0. But since this other value is bigger than 5, we approximate. So you take 1 and add here to becomes 41. If it were 0.40211, to two significant figure will simply be 0.40. So after getting the first significant figure, it doesn't matter whether any other value is 0 or not. It's the second, third, and so on. If you are given this is the first significant figure, this is the second, this is the third. Feel free to visit fractionals.com for more videos and other amazing academic guide. Thank you and subscribe to this channel. Catch you on the next one.